The American dream, a beacon of hope, a promise of prosperity and freedom, a chance for a better life. But for Black Americans, this dream has often felt out of reach. Their journey has been marked by struggle and sacrifice. Yet, through it all, they have persevered. From the arrival of the first enslaved Africans, their history has been intertwined with the story of America. Denied the fundamental rights promised to others, they fought for their place at the table. Through centuries of oppression, their spirit remained unbroken. This is the story of their journey towards the American dream. A journey that continues to inspire, a testament to the enduring power of hope, resilience, and the pursuit of equality. For centuries, the institution of slavery cast a long shadow over America. It was a system that dehumanized millions, reducing them to mere property. The echoes of this dark period still resonate today, influencing the social, economic, and political fabric of the nation. Millions of Africans were forcibly brought to its shores, stripped of their freedom and dignity. The journey across the Atlantic, known as the Middle Passage, was a harrowing ordeal. Packed into ships under inhumane conditions, many did not survive the voyage. Those who did were sold into a life of brutal labor. They endured unspeakable cruelty and exploitation, their labor fueling the nation's growth while being denied basic human rights. From sunup to sundown, they toiled in fields, plantations, and homes, their sweat and blood laying the foundation of America's prosperity. Families were torn apart, their cultural heritage ripped away. Children were separated from parents, husbands from wives, siblings from each other. The auction block was a place of unimaginable sorrow where human beings were bought and sold like cattle. Despite the horrors they faced, enslaved Africans found ways to resist. They rebelled against their oppressors, both overtly and covertly. From organized revolts to subtle acts of defiance, they fought for their freedom and dignity. They held on to their traditions, their stories passed down through generations. Music, dance, and oral histories became powerful tools of resistance and survival. These cultural practices provided a sense of identity and community, a way to preserve their humanity in the face of dehumanization. Their spirit remained unbroken, a testament to the indomitable human will. The resilience and strength of enslaved Africans laid the groundwork for future generations to continue the fight for justice and equality. The legacy of slavery continues to shape American society. Its impact is seen in the systemic inequalities that persist to this day. The struggle for civil rights and social justice is deeply rooted in this history. It's a reminder of the dark chapters of the nation's past and the importance of confronting injustice. Acknowledging this legacy is crucial in understanding the present and working towards a more equitable future. The fight for equality is a fight against this legacy, a struggle for recognition and a demand for a just and equitable society. It is a call to honor the memory of those who suffered and to ensure that their sacrifices were not in vain. The journey towards true equality is ongoing, and it requires the collective effort of all to achieve a society where justice prevails. After the Civil War, Reconstruction offered a glimmer of hope. Amendments to the Constitution promised citizenship and voting rights for Black Americans. For a brief time, progress was made, Black representatives were elected to Congress, and communities began to rebuild. However, this period was short-lived. The backlash was swift and brutal. Jim Crow laws emerged, enforcing segregation and discrimination. Violence and intimidation were used to suppress Black voices and deny their rights. Lynchings, poll taxes, and literacy tests became tools of oppression. Black Americans faced systemic racism in all aspects of life, education, housing, employment, and the justice system. Despite these obstacles, they continued to fight for their rights, their resilience a testament to their unwavering belief in the promise of America. Section 4, The Seeds of Change, the Harlem Renaissance, and the Great Migration. Out of the ashes of oppression, a cultural awakening emerged. The early 20th century was a time of great hardship for African Americans in the South. They faced systemic racism, economic exploitation, and violent oppression. Many communities were devastated by these harsh conditions, but from this adversity, a powerful movement began to take shape. The Harlem Renaissance, a period of extraordinary artistic expression, flourished in the 1920s. Harlem, a neighborhood in New York City, became the epicenter of this cultural revolution. It was a time when Black artists, writers, and musicians found a platform to express their creativity and share their stories with the world. Black writers, musicians, and artists gave voice to their experiences, challenging stereotypes and celebrating their heritage. Figures like Langston Hughes, Duke Ellington, and Aaron Douglas became icons, their works resonating far beyond the boundaries of Harlem. They used their talents to confront the injustices they faced and to celebrate the richness of their culture. Simultaneously, the Great Migration saw millions of Black Americans leaving the South, seeking better opportunities in the North and West. This mass movement, which began around 1916 and continued into the 1970s, was driven by the desire to escape the oppressive conditions of the South and to find better economic opportunities and living conditions. They brought with them their culture, their resilience, and their dreams. As they settled in cities like Chicago, Detroit, and New York, they established vibrant communities that became centers of cultural and social life. Their presence and contributions significantly shaped the cultural landscape of these urban areas. The Harlem Renaissance and the Great Migration were pivotal moments. These movements were not just about physical relocation or artistic expression, they were about reclaiming identity and asserting the right to be seen and heard. They represented a collective effort to break free from the constraints of a society that sought to marginalize them. They showcased the vibrancy and talent of Black Americans, challenging the prevailing narratives of the time. The art, music, and literature that emerged from this period were a testament to the creativity and resilience of a people determined to define themselves on their own terms. These movements laid the groundwork for the civil rights movement, planting the seeds of change for generations to come. The legacy of the Harlem Renaissance and the Great Migration is evident in the ongoing struggle for equality and justice. They set the stage for future generations to continue the fight for civil rights and to build on the foundations laid by those who came before them. Section 5. The Fight for Equality, the Civil Rights Movement, and Beyond. The Civil Rights Movement of the 1950s and 1960s marked a turning point in the fight for equality. It was a time when the voices of the oppressed began to echo across the nation, demanding justice and equal rights for all. Led by iconic figures like Martin Luther King Jr., whose powerful speeches and peaceful protests inspired millions, Rosa Parks, whose act of defiance on a Montgomery bus became a symbol of resistance, and Malcolm X, who advocated for Black empowerment and self-defense, Black Americans and their allies challenged segregation and discrimination. They organized sit-ins, freedom rides, and marches, bringing national attention to the injustices they faced daily. From the Montgomery bus boycott, which lasted over a year and ended with the Supreme Court ruling that segregation on public buses was unconstitutional, to the March on Washington, where Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his iconic "I Have a Dream" speech to a crowd of over 250,000 people. Their acts of courage and determination captivated the nation. These brave individuals stood up against systemic racism and demanded change, often at great personal risk. They faced violence, imprisonment, and even death in their pursuit of justice. Despite the dangers, they remained steadfast, knowing that their struggle was for the greater good. The civil rights movement led to landmark legislation, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin, and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which aimed to overcome legal barriers at the state and local levels that prevented African Americans from exercising their right to vote. These victories were hard-won, the result of countless sacrifices and the relentless efforts of activists who refused to give up. Their unwavering commitment to the ideals of equality and justice laid the foundation for future generations to continue the fight for civil rights and social justice. Section 6. Breaking Barriers. Black Excellence in the Face of Adversity. Despite facing systemic barriers, Black Americans have made significant contributions to every facet of American life. From science and technology to arts and culture, their achievements have enriched the nation's tapestry. Think of Katherine Johnson, whose mathematical brilliance was crucial to NASA's success, or Jackie Robinson, who broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball. Consider the literary genius of Toni Morrison and Maya Angelou, whose words continue to inspire generations. These are just a few examples of the countless individuals who have defied expectations and shattered glass ceilings. Their stories are a testament to Black excellence, resilience, and the power of the human spirit to overcome adversity. Section 7. The Dream Deferred Yet Still Alive, Challenges and Opportunities. While significant progress has been made, the journey towards equality is far from over. Systemic racism continues to permeate American society. Black Americans still face disparities in wealth, healthcare, education, and criminal justice. The fight for equal opportunity is ongoing. It requires acknowledging the persistent legacies of the past and actively dismantling the structures that perpetuate inequality. It demands a commitment to justice, equity, and a recognition of the inherent dignity and worth of every individual. Despite these challenges, the dream of a just and equitable society remains alive. The pursuit of the American dream continues, fueled by the hope for a better future, where every individual has the opportunity to thrive and reach their full potential.